Hey, Lindsay Banks here, psychic medium, intuitive and healer. I wanted to come in to talk a little bit about ancestral healing today. So I've had several clients contacting me over this last week where relationship stuff is coming up for them, and not necessarily in terms of a partner or husband or lover or whatever. It's more to do with patriarchal lines, matriarchal lines and ancestral healing. So if you haven't heard of this before, then do stay tuned, because I'm going to try and give you as much knowledge as I can about what I know around the ancestral healing, and also looking into your matriarchal and patriarchal lines, and how this can bring you to a sense of greater peace with the relationships that you currently have and any particular situations that you are in. So my ancestral healing for me started when I had a past life regression back in 2008, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I had a past life regression done, and in that past life regression at the time, I was working in retail. I was working 60 hours a week. I very rarely, I was at the opposite end of the country to my parents and my family, so I maybe saw them 2 or 3 times a year, if that. I was very much focused on my job, focused on my career, etc. I had a past life regression done where it turns out I was a French soldier living in the Dordogne area. Didn't even know, my geography's not great, and I didn't even know that was a name of the place or an area or an actual place. I was a soldier serving the king and queen, and in that lifetime, I think it was it was in the 1600s. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was in the 1600s, and basically my life was spent serving the king and queen and doing my duty. And I had a wife and a small child in that lifetime, but I rarely saw them. And unfortunately, the enemy came along and burnt my house to the ground whilst I was away, and took my child and my wife. So that was my first recollection of a past life. And when I was asked under the hypnosis, what are you meant to learn from that lifetime and this one, it was very much around that in that lifetime I had sacrificed my family for my work. And that's very much how I felt in terms of the career that I'd chosen, was that I'd put everything else on hold in order to have this career. So in terms of a lesson, it was very interesting, and I didn't actually pay it much heed, unfortunately, at the time, but if I had, my life would have been different anyway. So having an awareness of what role you played in a past life, who you were, and what lessons you need to learn in this lifetime can be really beneficial, because you may find it in this time, in your lifetime now, in your present, you may be finding that sometimes, you're repeating the same patterns again and again and again, and you're wondering the reasons why. And you might have, gone for some initial healing, but you're still stuck and you're like, I don't know why. And if you haven't investigated or looked into your past lives, it could be originating from there. So, we'll have many lifetimes before, and we may have many lifetimes afterwards. And in the lifetimes before, you might not have learned the lesson that you need to learn in this lifetime. So just having that awareness and knowing, firstly, who were you in a past life, and what lesson do you need to learn from then in this lifetime, can give you greater understanding of you as a whole soul. And it can help sometimes to change your perception on the reasons why you're potentially making mistakes, or why you keep going down the same road again and again and again. So in terms of ancestral healing, what that looks like is revisiting those timelines and where you've been in your past, and sending healing to those particular areas. Now, I came across this ancestral healing. I've been doing Reiki since 2010, and it wasn't until about 2 years ago, when I was treating my clients, that past life stuff started coming up for them. And when I was asking upstairs, why is past life stuff coming up for my clients, I thought, what I was meant to do is clear the chakras, cleanse their energies, and that's it. But what I found is the more that I developed as a soul and spiritually and personally, the more that I was being asked to grow within my role. So people's past lives started coming through in their healing sessions when it was one-to-one. So my first one, I think, shocked me because a lady, as soon as I started sending her the healing work and doing the healing work, straight away I said, I can see you as a witch's apprentice, and you were persecuted in that time for doing what you were passionate about, what you loved. And in this lifetime, she was struggling to basically, you know, go out there and say, this is me, this is what I believe. So often someone's past life can have repercussions in this lifetime, and it's only by being aware of it and solving it and healing it that it can allow us to move forward. So I then started to experiment and asked if I could try and see people's past lives via distance, which I did. And then I've started then working with those people. So it's like, this is who you are in a past life. Now let's do the healing work towards that. So again, it's remembering that we are not just this physical body, but we are an energy body and we are a soul. And our soul contains fragments from the past. So it contains every past life that we've had, and what's rising up for many people at this moment is not only the healing work for themselves that's happened in this lifetime, but also the healing work from their past lives. So if stuff's coming up for you at this moment in time, and you think, well, I've already healed that in this way, you know, I've had Reiki and I've had this, and it's obviously not working because there's still stuff coming up. It has worked because you've healed the stuff that's going on in the present, but you just need, there's more to do. It's like peeling an onion. Yeah, you've taken off the first layer. Yeah, you've done some work on your physical body. Physically you may feel fine, then you start on your emotional body, and then you start going back through your physical past in this lifetime, and then you go beyond. So the ancestral healing is like a process and a stage to go through, or that can be gone through, in order to help you move forward. Now, the other things to be aware of in terms of when we are doing any sort of ancestral healing is that not only is there, again, healing to do for your own soul, but what many people are feeling at the minute, especially like if you're an empath or a sensitive, is the healing work that is being done for your family as well. So if you think you were in your mother's womb, and she was in her mother's womb, and she was in her mother's womb, so along that line is called the matriarchal line, and along your father's side is the patriarchal line. So there comes a point, and I do feel like for those of us that are going through this now, it's like all the karmic stuff and everything ends with us, and we are feeling not only stuff that's going on for us, but also for our parents and our grandparents. And I feel like I sometimes keep saying the same things, you know, again and again, but like my parents, my grandparents lived through the Second World War, and if you think what it was like then, the time, you know, there was poverty, there was this distancing like we're doing at the minute, and there was a lot of men came back from, you know, from the war and couldn't talk about their feelings. There was no such thing as PTSD then, or if there was, you know, it wasn't recognised, and they had to find their own ways of coping with what was a really stressful time. And then our parents have taken that all on board, and then we've taken that all on board. So the stuff that's coming up now is around healing our ancestors' past as well, and going back through the generations. And again, there may be patterns within your own matriarchal line. So something might have happened with your mum, when that happened with your grandma, and then it happened with her great grandma as well. And being able to trace what's going on through those two lines can again give you that greater awareness and understanding of what is going on for you and what needs to be healed in terms of like karmic connections, etc. And yeah, because what many of us are here to do at the minute is to heal all of that in order so that our children aren't carrying it on for future generations. Okay, so I just wanted to share with you this information because I've had several conversations over the last few days specifically around ancestral healing, matriarchal lines, patriarchal lines. So I wanted to come and share with you this awareness and just, yeah, so if there is something that you're feeling that is coming up that isn't yours, then asking yourself the question, is this mine? First of all, does it belong to me? Yeah, is it from my mother's side? Is it from my father's side? Or is it from a past life? And then you can start to explore it more. So I'm going to be doing some recording some meditations there this afternoon, which I will share on my website, which is going to be, well, which it is, www.lindsaybanks.uk. And if you've got any questions or you want to come and speak about ancestral healing or matriarchal lines or patriarchal lines, you can come and join my Facebook group, which is Consciousness Arising, or drop me an email. Yeah, follow me, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you want to connect, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Okay, anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and if it's been of any benefit, then do let me know in the comments below, because I would love to hear not only like if you've already done the work, your stories, or if you're just starting out, then drop a comment below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.